Now you're a director of national security and affairs. So like, what is kind of, because a lot of the viewers feel like director, they think, you're back in the grind and, getting hamburger meat out, right?
Right.
Like what's kind of like your day-to-day, week-to-week type like?
So day to day, just really quickly, I wake up early in the morning. I read all the defense news, all the different articles, international news, foreign policy, foreign affairs. I go into all that stuff, just quick reads. I look for things that are within our portfolio that are priorities that I want to make sure I'm caught up on. And then I'll shoot those out to my staff who's assigned different portfolios. And then I task them with getting themselves up to date. I've gotten to the point now where they're doing that on their own. And then I drive into work. I work in DC. I live about 25 miles away, so there's a commute there. Once I get into the office, I have a meeting schedule. On a given day, I'll meet with either members of Congress or someone from a think tank or DOD. I engage with a lot. A lot of people don't know that for national security, the American Legion, we engage with the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security. So Border Patrol, Border Security, Border Patrol quality of life, State Department quality of life, their budget, all those things fall under my portfolio. And so on any given week, I'm engaging with all three departments, plus think tanks and other organizations like ours to get after specific issues of interest, like supporting our Afghan translators that we're still trying to pull out.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing all that type of stuff, and me and my team. And so, man, talk about relevant work. It's really special to be engaged in all that.
That's awesome. I know it's a lot of work and stuff. I know being a director, but the goodness is you find a lot of purpose within it, and that's important. Yeah. That's kind of the thing that we always say. What are we trying to do next? Or, what are you seeking? It's just good quality purpose in your life, and I'm glad you found that, brother.
Thanks, Mark.
It makes me really happy. And I know that another thing about you, Mario, is you continue to give back a lot. And volunteering, I know, is something that is very, very special to you. Can you just describe a little bit about some of the work that you're doing in a volunteer capacity, and also kind of how that makes you feel?
Sure. So previously, I spent a lot of time with the Special Olympics, with underprivileged children, battered spouses and children, efforts in all those areas. But also, especially in the military, teaching my younger service members that they need to give back, that why it's important to give back. And we're not just war fighters, but we're also humanitarians, and we save lives as well in the military. So, some of my latest efforts are involving first responders. I'm a real big advocate for our police and firefighters, also our Border Patrol agents. So, I'm thinking of starting a nonprofit that would specifically focus on just taking care of, engaging and informing the public about why we need to take care of our first responders and why that is national security too, internally. Yeah. There's too much interest. It's been too politicized that we're forgetting about the human aspect of those people. Just like sometimes the military, we forget about the human aspect of what we do. And so I'm really committed now to first responder advocacy and getting after more volunteer opportunities and inviting guys like you to maybe come out from time to time once I get it going and showing them we love them, we take care of them too, because there's more heroes than the military in this country.
Yeah, that's that was such an interesting. I've never really heard anybody frame it the way that you did about warriors being not just on the battlefield, but in humanitarian capacity.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's some powerful stuff. I would just offer to you that if it's something that's rolling around in your head and it's something you want to do, follow through with it.
Absolutely.
And just do it. I'll help you. We'll find a way to get it done. Sure. You get a lot of help here in the county. There's a lot of us here that are all connected. So that's amazing.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. So you are, in my opinion, I think that you're somebody who has capitalized and maximized a lot of opportunities that have been, out there for you. What advice would you give one of my amazing left-right lefters out there that keep moving forward? What kind of advice would you give them about capitalizing and maximizing opportunities?
Yeah, don't underestimate your talents. The civilian world needs military, trained, and experienced leadership. It's the bottom line. You can't come out here expecting that you're going to get a job based on your rank or position, because that's the last thing you need to do. But I will tell you, there's such a need for the the talent that we bring and the ability to manage multiple things, stressful situations, and to just get after things that some people aren't willing to go after. At the same time, get your rest, reset. You know when it's time to get back and engage into whatever community or aspect of life that you want to go after. Don't feel pressured to do what society says you need to do. Don't feel pressured what the military says you need to do after the military. It's got to be what's in your heart. And it's taken me 2.5 years while I've been doing all these things to realize that even though I love what I'm doing right now, this is probably not phase 3 of my life. Phase 3 of my life is yet to be written. And it may be in the mountains of Colorado, or it may be in the Shenandoah Valley here in Virginia.
Right.
But I have another goal in the future, and that is to have that house with that fence, with that land, with my wife, a little bit out in the country.
Yeah.
And just watch the sunset and still be able to engage my mind and people so that I can continue to grow and be better, because we have so much knowledge that if we don't give it back somehow, some way, it's just going to be wasted.
Yeah.
And that's not being selfish. That's just a fact, especially for guys like you and I who spent, well over 20 years in the military. People will benefit from that knowledge, and they're starving for that knowledge.
Yeah, I agree. There is definitely a big vacancy out there. I think that what you normally see on media, and part of the reason why I started this podcast was because the only people that ever seem to have a voice out there are those that are rich, famous, retired athletes, et cetera. So I'm like, I'm going to create something so you know that good people have an opportunity to be able to tell their story.
Yeah.
But I think that the glamorization of what we talked about earlier, of just filling up your own cup, who's got the most money, who's got the best car, who's got the best sits, it's all very materialistic, what I see on TV and when I'm scrolling through my social media.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that what you're talking about and what you have been talking about closes the deal on that there's other things that are just more important than those things.
Yeah. I used to have a bigger social media presence, much bigger when I was in the military. And I look back, I'm like, okay, yeah, I probably didn't need to have so much presence on that personal social media. So, you're on Facebook with me, but I don't have a lot of people on Facebook or Instagram, any of that.
Right.
Now I engage more on LinkedIn because it's professional, and I can actually engage on things that are relevant and may help someone.
Yeah, I agree. Right, it's been thank you for sharing some insight with me and with us today. You had a question you wanted to ask me.
I did. Right? So you kind of addressed it a little bit, but where do you see this going? What's the next level? I think this podcast is great. I don't know if you know Mario Fields. He's a fellow Sergeant Major. He's got a podcast too.
Guest him on it before.
And I think this idea is something that's needed. I think I would love to continue to support in any way that I can, because people of all professions should be talking to you about all the different things that I think the society as a whole should hear, to just kind of consider about what's the way forward for our country. Yeah. There's so much going on right now in the world between China, Ukraine, and economics and just inflation and all. There's a lot of societal stress that the more people you can bring in here with a variety of opinions, education, information, you're gonna blow up, and you're gonna be really out there taking the lead.
That's the whole goal. Like I wouldn't really say I have like a next level type thing. Just want to continue to give back. I thought that I could just, again, I keep talking about filling up the cup, but that's it's just not enough. This allows me to lead. Yeah. People coming here sharing their stories, or me talking about my own struggles, is helping people out there. Yeah. And I've gotten some nice personal notes, through Messenger and stuff from some of the guys I served with, from people who just kind of randomly have seen it, and they're like, wow, that's really, really cool what you're doing. I just want to give back to people that are struggling, give back to and lead.
Yeah. Well, Mark, what you don't know is this is therapy for me, right?
Yes.
I haven't talked to too many people about my struggles since retiring, and my wife's struggles. I didn't even talk about my wife's struggles. Hers are double of what mine have been, because she doesn't work, and so she's home all the time. And so me being able to come here and talk about it and vent and appreciate what she does for us. It's a form of therapy, and it makes me more committed that I can publicly have the courage to say some of the things that are stigmatized and taboo, and you're providing a venue for that, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. That is the other part too. As much as it's good, for people who see it and they can get nuggets of information or learn something, it is entirely therapeutic and very spiritual for me to do this as well. This is kind of like my outlet.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I really enjoy it a lot.
yeah, you have a professional setup, Mark. I love it. Really would like to come back at some point, whenever.
Oh, round two
Round
will
two.
happen for sure. And again, Mario, I truly appreciate you, and thanks very much for coming by. And to everybody out there, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with the great American Mario Marquez. I hope each one of you has a great weekend. Remember, keep moving your feet in a left, right, left manner, and keep your mind moving forward at all times. It's not about the past, it's about today, tomorrow, and the future. Love you guys. Take care.